what happened to you?
I don't think men experience icks as much.
It's one thing to know a lot about it. It's another thing to talk a lot about it.
No one should say you're so amazing before the third date would be pushing it.
These are just people who are so tired of their boyfriends.
Hey, little booties, welcome back. We are not for everyone, and this is about to be one of the rudest podcast episodes on the internet. I'm pretty sure.
Mm, I think so. I think you're
I'm really
right.
excited.
I haven't seen it
Uh,
done. We're breaking ground. This is like a
yeah,
scientific breakthrough.
I was gonna say it's an innovation. Today, just because we feel like it, we are gonna do a whole episode about icks. Just icks, just unreasonable, illogical, probably offensive, funny icks, mostly submitted by the listeners. And I'm so excited.
Yeah, I think in gathering both my icks, my boyfriend's icks, my friend's icks, and listeners' icks, I've been like conducting research for the last 2 weeks. I was finding myself getting very critical about like, I don't know if that counts as an ick. Like certain things
Yeah.
that you might think are your icks are actually just like, that's just something that you're not into or it's a deal breaker for you.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
feel like deal breakers and icks are different. So maybe it's worth
Mm-hmm.
defining. For me, icks is like something completely random that just turns you off. And like immediately once somebody does it, you can't look at them the same way. You can't look at them sexually. You can't be attracted to them. Like that's how I think about icks. It's not just like, oh, he has bad grooming. It's like, well, yeah, you might that's definitely a deal breaker for a lot of people, but I don't know if that's exactly an ick.
I agree with that. I agree with your
Yeah.
definition. I think my one adjustment would be um a lot of people submitted icks like about their fiance who they love. So I think that we
That's fair.
all I think that we can all trigger icks in each other. And at first I was thinking, oh yeah, icks are something that would make me never want to go on a date with you. But I actually do think most people, like
They're
I'm sure
just human things.
I trigger icks for Justin. And like I think that you can have a moment of an ick and still end up having sex with that person and liking it, but you're probably going to need like a 20-minute break
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. That's maturity is like noticing the ick and saying, let me pause. This doesn't mean I
Yeah.
have to burn it all to the ground. Yeah.
But I also don't touch me. Don't touch me for a little
I need
while.
some time. I need some time.
My
How
ick
do
is
we
my
do
hair.
this?
My ick is my hair right now. Do you see this? Do you see this?
I'm having
I
a
look,
similar hair problem right
I'm a
now. It's
little
like
boy. Just this is
the
why I feel
bangs.
like I'm amazed that anyone asks me how I do my bangs because I'm a little doll boy right
You are
now.
a little doll boy right now, but if your hair was down, okay, once you tilt your head forward, we can see your
Looks
bun and it's
normal.
not doll boy. Yeah,
I think
maybe
I'm
you
a
need to
little doll
do,
boy.
you need to be from the side for this
I am my
episode.
own ick. Yeah, can I give a full intro while we all ignore my hair? Can I give a full to give myself a comb over? A full intro for everybody on the rules of icks.
Yeah, please, if there's rules, I didn't know, so I need to know.
I think you do know these rules, but some people need to hear again. So, an
Okay.
ick, to be clear, I also have collected icks submitted by boyfriend, friends, listeners, followers on Instagram. And the rules for icks is you can only have an ick about a person or gender or whatever you're attracted to.
Right.
If it's something like I'm not sexually attracted to women, so I can't have icks about women, those are just things I don't like. And it's not the same. Stuff
Yeah.
you don't like, it's different from something that sexually turns you off and makes you throw up in your throat a little bit. Okay. And
Yep.
so I requested that people only submit icks about people they're attracted to. I think that's the rule. And then the other big rule is that icks are absolutely indefensible. There's usually no defense for them, and also you cannot argue with them.
So,
They
what do
you
you mean by
cannot
indefensible? I can't. if I give you my ick, there's no way for me to really defend it
Well,
logically. That's
I
what you
guess
mean?
you might be able to defend it logically, but there's no requirement for
Sure,
you to be
sure.
able to defend it. You don't have to prove it, but also no one can argue with an ick. It's
Yeah.
kind of like saying, um, I like the color pink. It's like I don't have to be able to defend why. I just do, and you don't
Yeah.
like and you can't tell me that I don't. It's just an opinion and it is a fact of your opinion. It's
Your
kind of like
feelings are valid.
arguing. Yeah. I think it's kind of like arguing with someone what makes them ticklish. Like it's just a bodily reaction. You can't really argue with it. It just does.
Totally. I do think icks are bodily reactions for sure.
Yeah.
So that was also hard in putting a list together for myself because I was like, I need to experience it and then I'll know it. And
Yeah.
you texted me like something I'm doing is just as I walk around the city and notice somebody
Yes.
who I'm like turned
Oh my
off by or
God.
whatever, trying to identify like, okay, what is it about that person that's giving me this bodily reaction? This was a very interesting process. I have not been like an ick person in the past. I mean, I've gotten the ick, but I've not been a person to really spend time like aggregating them. So I'm very interested in what we
I'm
shared today.
so excited. I
Yeah.
collected a few and then the ones from the listeners, I was crying laughing. I was
Yeah.
crying fucking laughing. It also made me realize that we have way more haters
Oh,
out
totally.
here than I think when I'm on the podcast as the podcast hater, I always feel like, oh, nobody's gonna understand what I mean here. Like everyone's gonna be judging me or they must think this is mean. No, most of y'all are with me.
Oh
Okay, I
yeah.
feel like the last disclaimer is to say that someone, if you listen to this whole episode, something is going to apply to you. You are going to get your butt hurt. People submitted icks that described me, and you're going to get butt hurt. So just know we're all going to get butt hurt here. And if you can't handle that, this is not the episode for you. You can go to the next one. But if you're going to listen, know that we're all going to get a little butt hurt at times.
Yeah. This is like if you're in a sassy mood, listen to this episode. If you have a friend who's always talking about their icks, always being sassy, always criticizing, always hating, send them this episode. Like this is
Yes.
for a certain mood and you don't have to be in that mood today. Maybe you'll come back tomorrow. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Give me one.
Okay. The first one my friend said to me that made me laugh in the middle of the street. She said, men who like hold the tip of their hat and say "milady."
What the fuck? Who's done that to her ever?
Are you kidding me? Oh wait, it made me laugh
Do
so hard
people
because
do that
I could
in DC?
immediately, I
Is a
could
DC thing?
immediately, no, it's not a DC thing. It's maybe like a theater boy thing. I could
Mm,
immediately picture this person, but also like I don't think I would associate with them. I do think that someone like that's a deal. I think that tells me so much about who you are that you would never stay in my life in any capacity.
I agree. Maybe that's the reason I can't think of this man because
I
he's
think you've
just far
weeded
away
them
from
out,
me.
lady. I think
Well,
we've weeded them out. Okay, hit me.
um, okay, a listener submitted saying my name about men, saying my name in a conversation in an attempt to be personable. And
Yeah.
I thought that was spot on. I don't know if saying my name out loud in a conversation is a nick for me, but saying my name in a text message to be like Jess la 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 la. I don't know. There's a specific
Oh,
fuck boy that I dated
interesting.
for like a month who ended up ghosting me, and he would always put my name in his text, and I think it was for him to like
Ugh.
keep straight which girl he was talking to or something,
I feel like
and
a lot
seem
of
like
people
he
think
liked me.
I think when I meet someone who's doing that, I'm like, okay, so I get it. You read the book like How to Make Friends and Influence People. Like,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You Googled
You
like how to
Googled.
connect. Yeah, I liked that one.
Okay. Somebody submitted men who love exotic fruit.
What the these are all so random.
I love them. These are my favorite ones. These are my favorite ones.
It just makes
Wait,
me want to ask follow-up questions. I'm like, what happened to you with a man who loved dragon fruit? Like,
I
tell
feel
me
like I get
more
it though. It's like, don't lecture me. I feel like it
about
always
the
turns into
fruits,
a
the
lecture.
fruits
It's
of the
always
world.
lecturing about a fruit. I
Um,
think these are my favorite ones, is the ones that are, this is what I mean. It's indefensible.
right, right. Oh, I liked this one. Okay, this is about women. Somebody who's attracted to women. They said pronouncing wolf, WOLF, as woof. Cosign. That's you don't have to say anything else about that. I'm in. I hate
Correct.
it. Why are you doing that? Who are your parents?
Submitted by a listener about men. Putting your hair behind your ear in a very shaky and feminine way.
I know exactly what they're describing the
I'm
shakiness.
sorry. I'm sorry to these men. I'm sorry to these
Oh,
men.
that's so funny.
I'm sorry to these men.
Okay, what else do I have? Um, there were lots of things about socks actually submitted.
Uh-huh.
So lots of people, and I agree, hate no-show socks, which are the ones that are not even ankle. It's like below the ankle. You can't see it when you have a shoe on.
It's like
People don't like that.
lingerie. It's like their
Yeah, it's
negligee.
too intimate.
It's their foot negligee.
And then shoes without socks. Taking their socks off in any situation was sent in. Basically, like we need to see a sock on a man. If I can't see
Yeah.
a sock, it's done.
I did take note of the most common ones. There were some that were submitted over and over and over and over and over, and it was basically anything involving men's toes. Usually, like there was like their toes hanging over the end of their flip-flop too far.
Mm,
Wearing flip-flops with jeans came up like
mhm.
500 times. Wearing flip-flops with wide leg pants. Grabbing the TV remote with their toes. That one really
No.
got me. I would say toe, just like toes, was the
It's
number
over.
one. Was the
Why do you have
number
toes?
one.
Stop
Yeah.
having toes. Yeah.
Okay.
There's- I'll let you go.
Okay, wait. Let me see. Watching a man chase a ping pong ball in beer pong.
Like
So
having to bend over.
much. Yeah, and just like kind of scuttling, just like kind
You're
of
like,
scuttling around like a little crab.
and when the ball just keeps going and it's hard for them to grab, the
And
harder
it's
it
hard for
is for
them.
them
And
to
they get
get.
like they're like hunched over and they just do a couple scuttles. I think anything where you're scuttling,
I feel really cringy when I have to do that too, so I
it's
get
a
it.
horrible look. This is okay. Here's the other thing I thought about. So I do have some icks submitted by men about women. I have
Yeah.
a lot of icks submitted by women who are attracted to women about women. But even asking men in person,
Mm.
I don't think men experience icks as much. I
Ryan
don't.
had several.
That's great.
Yeah.
Justin had some. I don't even know if they really counted as icks though. I didn't. I was like, oh, that's like a
Yeah,
personality difference. But
I agree.
I do have a theory that men don't experience icks as much, and I think it's twofold. Here are my
Okay.
thoughts. So I think women have more icks because if you think about the icks, most of them are about something a man does that undermines his masculinity, which like
100%.
sucks for men. That sucks. But you know what? We deal with stuff with our femininity too. So I feel like this is your lot and I'm okay with it. I think it's gonna be
Hmm.
fine. And undermining your femininity doesn't it's not quite the same thing. And then I think the other part is that I've learned like a lot of men, if they can have been in a phase of their life where they will have sex with anything.
Yeah.
And so there's not, I think, that doesn't go for like every man forever, but I think most men at some point in their teens or 20s have gone through a phase where like
Doesn't really matter. I'll
you
take
could
what I
have,
can get.
yeah, you could have walked straight out of you know, fallen into an outhouse and they'd be like, well,
You're
it's
here.
it's a hole and you're here. Yeah.
Mhm.
Whereas
I think that's a
women,
good theory. I
I
do
think that
agree
is my
when I
theory.
asked men about icks, they could name some things, but they were not things that I would consider icks. Like,
Yeah.
um, let's see. Oh, like bad drivers was a big one. We went out for drinks with one of Ryan's friends and his wife, and I asked Ryan and his friend, "What are your icks about women?" and they both went on like a tangent about bad drivers driving on the shoulder, weaving through traffic, not using turn signals. I was like, okay, like, yeah, that would probably annoy me, or I wouldn't feel safe in the car with them or whatever, but I don't know if it's an ick per se. It was a
Yeah, I don't
very
know if it
interesting
is
thing.
because I know you still be fucking them
100%. I'm
and
like,
dating
Ryan, you
them.
think I'm a bad driver, so what's
Justin
this?
proposed to a bad driver. So
Exactly.
so what's this, dude?
Exactly.
Maybe
They
it's
did
an
give
ick,
me a
but
few
I
others. The funniest one that Ryan gave me about women was having a Boston accent. It's like, oh shoot, I kind of get it. But I love a
That's
Boston
funny.
accent on a man, and I'm sorry to our
Accents are
Boston
so
listeners.
specific. Listen, be sorry to them. That's fine.
He's taken anyway.
Justin told me this wasn't in an it conversation, but Justin told me he doesn't like the sound of the Italian language. And I'm like, "Well, that's the language I speak. You don't who doesn't like Italian?
That's actually wild.
Isn't that weird?"
His ear just like twitches with it.
He doesn't
It's a
like it.
beautiful language.
He doesn't like the sound of it. Okay,
Wow.
to each his own. Okay, here's a good one. This one made me laugh so hard. This was also submitted by my friend who gave the milady comment. She said, going to a restaurant and the and wanting a very specific table at a restaurant. Like the hostess tries to sit you somewhere and you're like, actually, can we get that table over there? Actually, can we
Yes.
get this one
Oh,
over here by the window? Sorry
it
to
makes
this
me
man.
shiver.
Sorry to this
That's my
man. I'll
mom,
do
though.
it.
That's also my mom.
I mean, I'm guilty of a lot of these, but it is funny. Somebody else submitted this made me laugh a lot. Wait, I have to. Wait, this one is so good. A listener said about men following the waiter to be seated at a table. No, I do not have an alternative suggestion.
That's really good.
I
Why
agree.
are you following another man?
No, no,
God
no.
forbid it's a woman.
Oh yeah, following another man or a small woman, a small 20-year-old woman.
Um, okay, I have two really good ones.
Okay,
Watching
great.
a man arrange poolside lounge chairs.
Yeah, that's
I think it's
correct.
similar to the beer pong one of like just like hunched
Yeah.
over, moving stuff uncomfortably. And then this one killed me. Standing on a ladder or anything other than the ground for a man.
These are all correct. There were like four submissions, I will say, of people being like seeing a man's feet dangle, like the chair's too
Oh,
high with
that's,
dangling
oh,
feet.
my heart just stopped.
Like being
That's
in a bar
terrible.
stool with dangling feet.
Yep.
Okay, here's one from me. I will say this is mine. And I don't think if I think just hearing someone say this, I don't know that I think I would have a more empathetic feeling about it, but then I saw it in the gym,
Okay.
which is an adult man, a skinny, lanky adult man doing the happy baby yoga pose in public.
It's terrible. I've
I
seen it.
you can do happy baby, but you have to do it in private.
You have to be at home.
You
If it's
have to
part
be
of
at
a yoga
home.
class you're at, you
No,
can't
still
do it.
bad. Still
Yeah.
bad. Act like you have an injury in that moment, and that's something you can't do.
Just go to
Do
child's
not,
pose.
do not flare your butthole to us in public.
Oh my
No.
God. That
And he
is
was
what it
doing,
is.
this guy was doing it for like 20 minutes,
Wait, so was he in
just
a yoga
rolling
class
around.
or he was just
So
stretching at the gym
no. It was just at the gym on a mat. Okay, so
on his
if you
own?
don't, everyone Google a happy baby yoga pose. You're on your back like a beetle, first of all. Don't ever let me see a man on his back. And if you're, don't be on your back unless your legs are all the way on the ground. I don't want to see you
Unless
on
you're
your back.
flat.
I don't want to see you on your back like a beetle with your feet in the air. That's an ick right there.
Hmm.
And then you pull your knees up like to as far as you can towards your chest and your feet are like by your ears and you hook your elbows over your legs so your elbows are on the back of your knees and you just
Yep.
flare it
And
out.
you
You just
hold your
flare it
feet
out and you wiggle a little
and you
bit.
rock.
Yeah, you rock. I think it's
It's
the rocking that really tips it over the edge.
it's really troublesome to think about. Hi,
Yeah.
Ryan. Ryan just walked in. I told them about your Boston accent thing.
I want to know where that came from. That one's confusing to
Yeah,
me,
do you
but
have a
I'll
story
allow
behind that? You just don't like it.
it. Can you do an
You-
impression?
Yeah, do a Boston accent for us, can you? Okay. He's just
Yeah.
watering the plants in here. Okay. What's another one that I have? So you just gave one of yours. I feel like I should give one of mine. Oh, I have for men hanging the American flag as home decor. I can't. And then on the next bullet,
Yeah.
uses the word female.
That was the other most common submission.
Yeah, don't
Referring,
do that.
that was the most common submission. I don't think I would have thought of that one. And at first, I was like, that's not offensive. And then the more I thought about it, I actually can't think. Yeah. So the submission was men who commonly refer to women as females. They talk about them as females
Yeah,
instead of women or even girls or
there's a lot of
people.
other options.
Female. It is. It really, you know what? It's not inherently wrong, but it is, I want to say the correlation of the kind of man it's correlated with, it's always weird.
I agree. I think that there's something very impersonal about it. It's like females, like we're a specimen. It's
A
scientific or
a
something.
different species.
Yeah, a different
Yeah.
species. So I think that's what bugs me about it. Unless you're talking about it when you're talking about like the female chronotype because you're a scientist, I don't
Yeah, as
want
an
to hear
adjective, a
that word come out of your
chronotype.
mouth.
I don't want to hear you talk about chronotypes. Somebody said, seeing my fiance practice his golf swing. Love him, but ick.
Mm. Yeah, guys who just stand like in their living room and do their golf swing without a
No.
golf club in their hands.
Yeah, I think that's extra.
That's a thing. Let me
I
find
know.
another
I'm
women one.
sorry to these men. I think this is, you know what? There's a lot of things that's hard about being a woman, and this is one thing that's hard about being a man. It's the one thing. We have a lot of icks about you.
Um, what do I have about women? Oh, somebody, I think this was a woman who submitted about women
Hmm.
and said, looking through a telescope with their mouth open. I can't remember the last time I looked through a telescope. It
That's
was
great.
very specific.
Okay, I have a lot submitted by lesbians about their fellow females.
Yeah.
Somebody submitted women about women, fake eyelashes.
Oh,
I know that's gonna be
controversial.
controversial.
You know, I think they can be done well, and I think they can be done badly.
I was gonna say, I feel like if they're done well, you probably shouldn't be able to tell that they're fake.
Exactly.
But as soon
Exactly.
as you can tell someone has fake eyelashes, it's not the right look.
Right.
Ooh, women about women submitted butch women that wear a full face of makeup.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if I've seen that, you know, because like then I
Yeah.
probably wouldn't consider them to be butch, but who am I to be the arbiter of
No,
whether someone's butch?
I feel like you can definitely be butch regardless of your
Of makeup.
makeup. I
I
feel like
guess I
I could
just
see
don't see
it.
it very often, if
Yeah.
ever.
It would seem strange though. I feel like there'd be some dissonance there.
Yeah.
Okay, another women about women. Undercuts.
Whoa, that's controversial because I feel like that's a very popular hairstyle in the
Really?
queer community. Yeah, so
Undercut?
for a lesbian to say that,
Yeah,
there's a lot of lesbians who have undercuts. I like them actually. I think they look really cool. But
I
that
don't.
probably makes dating hard for that person.
I know.
Somebody
Yeah,
said
I don't
woman
like
about
them.
woman excessive keychains, which I understood. Like, why do you have I feel that way about men actually. And Ryan used to have a lot of shit on his
Keychains?
keychain and it really annoyed me. It wasn't keychains, it wasn't like, oh, like Aruba or whatever, but it was just lots of keys. Like every friend or his brother or his mom or whatever who gave him an extra key, he kept them on his keychain and it was just like a janitor's ring. I was like, dog, we can't. You got to leave those in a box and just
Really? What is it?
simplify.
Is it the jingling? Is it the aesthetic? Because I think
I,
I have a janitor key ring.
I think it's how big it is. I don't know. Something about
Okay.
it
They're
is just like
compensating.
it's not sleek.
Yeah.
It just really bugged me. And then we also like have a hook in our place where we both hang, like one hook for him, one for me, where we hang our keys. And mine is like one keychain
Boop,
with my two keys on it, and it just looks like boop. And his was like, wah.
boop. What
And
about a man who
aesthetically it
clips
was
their
wrong.
keys? What if they clip their keys to their belt or their pants while they're walking around?
Oh, yeah, I don't prefer that. I don't prefer that. It reminds me of beepers, like having
Yeah.
a little
Then I
beeper on
feel
your
like
belt.
you are cosplaying being uh the word isn't
Like,
janitor. What's the right word you're supposed to use now?
oh, a custodian?
Custodian.
Yes, which could be an interesting cosplay, but not for every day.
But also if it's not your job, why are you cosplaying at a job that's not your job?
Sure. Sure.
Okay. Here's one that I think is great. Ooh, some people are going to disagree. Somebody submitted weed about men, weed paraphernalia scattered everywhere in their home.
Mm.
I will raise you one. I had actually written a version of this down on my own, which is having any degree of expertise in weed, in edibles, and talking about it a lot. If it is
Talking
not,
about it a lot.
and talking about it a lot, if it is not like a medical, like you're taking this to support you through chemo.
Right.
Other than that, I don't care. I don't care. I do not want to hear it is I am not impressed by our expertise. I think that one is the kind of ick for me that would also be a deal breaker.
Yeah. I think it would be for me too. I think it's like it's one thing to know a lot about it. I don't necessarily mind that. It's another thing to talk a lot about it, and that bugs me. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
similar to people who love to talk about like, oh, I was so drunk last night, or like they want to
Yeah.
prove that they party or something and talk about that stuff a lot.
Yeah.
I don't care. You can do whatever you want. You can know about it. You can enjoy it. You can whatever. As soon as you're making it your personality and talking about it all the time,
Mm-hmm.
it's an ick.
I feel like the girl parallel, this was an ick submitted by a man about women talking at length about dietary intolerances.
Oh,
Agree. Agree. Agree.
just have your intolerances, girl. It's
I
fine.
do. And I do. You don't, no one else is interested in it. This is
Yeah.
like, isn't this like rule like 101 of socializing is like nobody fucking cares about your diet. Nobody care. Don't talk about your diet. Nobody fucking cares.
It's
Nobody
so
cares.
hard though. I agree with you and I catch myself doing it because like if I'm for example on like a fitness kick and I'm like going to the gym a lot and eating right, it takes so much energy and like mental
Mm-hmm.
focus and thinking about it all the time to be working out every day, eating a lot of protein, like kind of planning my meals accordingly, that
Yeah.
like it becomes the only thing I can talk about, but it annoys me so much to hear myself do it. But I
Yeah.
know that when I'm on those kicks, it's like it's on my mind. So if people ask me what's up with me, I'm like, well,
I'm
I
eating
I discovered
protein.
this new protein pancake and whatever. I'm going
Yeah.
to the gym a lot because it's like all that I'm thinking about. It sucks. It's
But
food
that
noise.
okay, so when you talk to us about your protein pancakes, that I would not put in this category. That's like, oh, I discovered a recipe that supports me on this thing I'm working
Sure.
on. I feel like just talking at length about dietary intolerances is more in the category of talking at length about medical, just like mundane medical shit.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
opposed
yeah.
to, oh, I'm like, I don't know, the fact that you're on a diet or trying a lifestyle or trying a new workout or like on a new regimen, that's like something you're doing in your life.
I
I don't put
guess
those I don't put those in the same category. Though at least the
maybe.
way I haven't experienced that from you.
Oh no, you haven't experienced that from me because it's an ick for me that I try to
Yeah.
control. And I think, yeah, like I know it's not interesting, so I stop myself.
Yeah.
But years ago, when I was still living in DC, like probably 8 years ago, I was on a really big health kick. I was like losing a lot of weight in a healthy way, working out and eating right. And it was like a year long focused journey that I was on.
Yeah.
And at that time, I know that that was like most of what I was capable of talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Nobody gave me feedback that it annoyed them, but I just heard myself doing it and it annoyed
You're
me.
like, I gotta watch it. I'm
Right.
getting
So
in
now,
dangerous territory.
now if I'm ever like back in a zone like that, I am mindful of like,
Yeah.
don't make it your personality. Nobody wants to hear all the details of everything you ate and how good you're doing. And oh my
Oh
gosh,
my God.
today the scale was down by this amount. Like nobody, like it's honestly can become toxic. So that's what it made me think of. But I
Yeah.
agree, there are differences too. There's also, when you were talking about like minor medical stuff, I get icked out by hypochondriacs. I didn't have this on my
Yes.
list, but
Correct.
it
It
is the
came up.
truth.
It was submitted a couple times from
Okay.
listeners. Something around like men like having just acting like they are Jesus Christ on the cross being crucified when they have a
When they have a
cold or something.
sneeze. Yeah.
I swear to God, all of the people who are the least sympathetic to other people being ill, but the biggest crybabies when they're ill, they're only men.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
The
Because women
only
have to have a
illness
period. We
crybaby.
know what pain is.
I
And we
genuinely
know
think
we
this
all
is a thing.
experience it.
And
Yeah.
and not even just experiencing pain, but getting used to having to just deal with it. Deal with
Power
it and
through
no
it.
one gives a fuck and just fucking deal with it.
Yep.
That is genuinely a thing.
Yep.
Okay, wait, here's what I'm going to say. I do relate to your when you were like oh, when I was focusing really hard on, oh, I was talking about food stuff because I was focusing really hard on it. I will say totally true. And also, that's the explanation for everything. If someone's talking about something all the time, it's because they're consumed by it. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't mean you can't, empathize with it. But like, it's the same like we were talking before about moms who can't stop. The only thing they can talk about is their
Is their
kids.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah, it's even more consuming, of course. Still annoying. I caught myself doing this
Exactly.
recently. It happens to all of us. I caught myself doing it recently. I spent like the last 2 weeks. I had time off from work, and I spent the last 2 weeks doing like a like boot camp, full throttle work period on like finding, looking at wedding venues, getting prices, making spreadsheets, trying wedding dresses, trying to find a wedding dress and what city and budgeting and wedding planners and interviewing people and all this. And I did that for like 2 weeks straight. And then all I could think about and all I could talk about was
Yeah, of
wedding
course.
stuff.
Of course.
And one of my biggest annoyances and like kind of fears, almost every person I've seen get married in the last couple years, with one exception, when they're planning their wedding, for the year that they're planning their wedding, all they can talk about is their wedding. All they can talk about is planning their wedding. And personally, I find it really annoying and stupid and bizarre. And I don't know, maybe they're only talking about it. I mean, they are all consumed by it. And of course, like you're focused on it and you're investing money on it and it's stressful and you want people to like it. But I just really don't want to do that. And
Hmm.
so I saw myself doing it after like 2 weeks and I was like, oh, okay. So I need to not do any more wedding planning for like a week. I need to like remember what it's like to do other things in my life right now.
Yeah.
That was my solution. But like, yeah.
It is hard, like, because those things are all consuming, and especially right now, you're taking like a little time off from working, so you have more time to devote to it. Like, it would be different if you were also working and doing some wedding planning, a couple evenings a week, but it's not like the only thing you're doing. But if you had a concerted, focused time that was just spent mostly on that, then of course. But I agree, like, that's happened to me in so many areas of life. It happens when you like, it's kind of similar to the obsession when you start dating someone new who you're really excited about. You want to spend all your time with them. You just want to like talk about them, think about them, whatever. But you also don't want to be that girl who's super annoying and only talking about the new guy in her life. Like, you're
Mm-hmm.
aware it's annoying because you've been on the receiving end of it with your friends. And then you're also aware that, like, well, that's what my life is right now. I don't know what to tell you. If you want to talk to me, that's what I'm
Yeah.
going to talk about. Otherwise, let's catch up later. So, yeah, it is a catch 22. I get it.
Justin and I actually had like a long talk about this, about the difference between ranting about something when with your loved ones when it is a venting process and there's something that is purged in it and it does something it's transformative because you get to express something. Like obviously we love complaining. I'm not against complaining. But like venting to me is complaining about something and you're kind of metabolizing it and you're digesting it and you're taking it out of your head and sharing it with someone who loves you and you're getting to process it. And then on the other side, you come out a little bit different because you've processed
Yeah.
through something. The experience of talking about it is transformative as opposed to, so that is very different too, to me. And it's a very different experience to be with someone who just repeats the
Yeah.
same complaint over and over. And the complaint doesn't transform over a
Yes.
long period of time, and they don't transform through it. To sit with someone, it's like, your parent always, maybe they're always complaining about, I don't know, pick something, the street parking or
Mm-hmm.
the president or their husband or whatever, and it's always the same and you hear it every time and it doesn't evolve and it doesn't transform. And you listening empathetically, you know that you listening empathetically isn't even going to do anything for them.
Yeah.
So then leaves me feel like, oh, you don't need me here for this one. You could do this alone with a wall and you'll be just as transformed. It's not a purging
You've
transformative
already done
process for
this with
you.
me.
It's not,
Yeah.
and it's you're not growing through it. It's not changing anything for you.
Yeah.
I feel like those are the differences
I
for
totally
me.
agree. I think that's spot on. Like when I reference like ending
Be
friendships
right
over
back.
people being negative and complainy,
Yeah.
it's that. It's like every time we get together, you're complaining about the same things. There's been no development, no growth. There's no reason for me to be here listening or giving advice or just
Yeah.
like being a sounding board. Like it hasn't changed. It hasn't evolved. You're always going to be this way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
That's when I
about
start checking
everything.
out. That's when I
Yeah,
start checking out.
as opposed to like totally I'm such an out loud processor. I need to vent about stuff to trusted people to like move to the other side of it.
That's what relationship is.
Right. But then you won't hear me talk about it again other than maybe being like, "Whoa, that was so cool that I talked to you about it and I feel better now." Like that's a positive person. Thank you so much. Let's
Thank you
get back
so
to
much.
Icks.
Give me an ick. Give me an ick.
Okay. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, y'all, and I have mental health advocate on my bio on my LinkedIn. So it's very important for me to speak on this today. Mental health was stigmatized for a really long time. Okay. I've worked in healthcare for 12 years. And even 12 years ago, when I graduated, it was like a paragraph in years of coursework. But now, not only is mental health part of a bigger conversation, it's also just more accessible. There are more therapists, there are more ways to get to them. Your insurance is more likely to cover it than it was a few years ago. And it really helps, dog. I have personally benefited from therapy. It is the reason that I have coping skills, can manage my stress, can communicate my boundaries. That's why I really like what BetterHelp is doing. They're broadening access to therapy. They've got this huge network of licensed therapists, and it's all online, which means no awkward waiting rooms, no driving across town. So if you have not yet tried therapy, I really recommend giving BetterHelp a try. We're all better with help. Visit betterhelp.com/not for everyone, fully spelled out, to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp, HELP.com/not for everyone. Men treading water,
I know.
right?
Did you see an Instagram reel about that?
No, but this person did say to look like YouTube it.
Yes.
Oh,
Guy,
maybe I should look it
guy,
up.
there's this amazing, I got the idea for this whole episode because I saw this Instagram account called, I think it's called like Guy with the Ick List. And he just takes reels, he stitches reels of like women complaining about different icks with men. And as we know, they're all indefensible and they're horrible. And he just made this long ick list. And it's things like having fun, using a straw, like accidentally dropping something, like treading water. And I love it.
I love
Okay.
it.
Okay, here's an ick submitted by a man about women. Any kind of Ugg boot or of the like. Also, cheetah print is an absolute no. I don't trust you.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm at fault big time. I
You're
love my Ugg
mm.
slippers. I have a real cute cheetah print dress I've been wearing out and about. Yeah. Don't trust me. That's fine.
Don't trust me.
Oh, okay, one of my icks is a man drinking a glass of milk. I don't like it.
Mm,
I don't trust it.
okay.
I think it would apply to women if I was attracted to women, but I would say it about female friends. If you're
Yeah.
drinking a glass of milk,
Okay.
especially with a meal,
Okay.
you're telling me you're
Yeah,
drinking a
with a
glass of
meal.
milk with spaghetti and meatballs, like for dinner?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Get out of here.
I knew an adult man who did that, and it was a topic of conversation for a lot of people.
I
Hmm.
I think a lot of people grew up doing that. Like when you're kids, you need to drink your milk, get calcium,
Yeah, I also
whatever.
used to shit in my pants, but habits
I don't even
change.
think I used to do that as a kid. I don't think my
You
I
never
mean,
pooped in a diaper?
I did that part. But the
Right, right,
milk
right.
part, I don't think my mom was
Yeah.
giving me milk with dinner because like
Oh,
she had some more culinary sense than that. It just doesn't
okay.
make any sense to me. I hate it.
Here's a good one. Men who like the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Correct.
Period.
Correct. Sorry you don't have a very high IQ. Okay, moving on. This
Um,
really made me laugh.
oh, go for it.
Men wearing bike helmets once they are already inside and off their bikes. Just
uh,
like walking around a store in their bike helmet.
I bike. Look at me, I bike. You got to know I bike.
You just look like a little mushroom cat boy to me.
Okay, this one I got from actually listening to Las Culturistas, the podcast. They had Amy Poehler on, and she was talking about people who overstay their welcome at a party. And I was like, oh my God, that's an ick for me.
Okay.
Not being able to read the room and like know when it's time to go. Or
Like the party
also,
is shutting down?
um, yeah, like things are slowing down. Maybe they're starting to clean up and somebody's just still like seated on the couch, pouring another drink, telling a story to like the two people left there. I'm just like, go home. What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting
And
for?
then there's a similar thing of like people who take a really long time to leave. Like they decide they're going to leave a party and then
I
they are still
I
there 30 minutes later. And I'm
mm,
like, what are you? I thought we said bye 30 minutes ago. Why am I now running into you in the kitchen? Just figure it out. Just figure it out. I don't like it. It's an ick for me. Read the room.
yeah.
Get
I
out of
don't
that
even know if
party.
that's an ick, but I will become so rude so quickly. You decided, you communicated social cues that we were doing a goodbye now. I'm standing, we're at the door. I'm not having a second goodbye conversation at the
No,
door.
I'm
I
not.
gave you two hugs. Don't fucking ask me what I'm doing the rest of the day. That was the question you ask when you tell me you need me to start leaving. Now I'm leaving.
Correct.
Now we're done. Don't talk to me now.
We're enemies.
I actually would prefer to leave people's homes in silence.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've talked about an Irish exit, which is the best way, is the only
It's
way.
the only way. Here's one about women that's kind of made me laugh. This is maybe women submitted by women for women. Okay. Visiting and walking around the office to show off baby when on maternity leave.
Oh, wow.
I agree. You're supposed to be on leave. Why'd you come to the office?
Yeah, why is this what you decided to use your time on? I thought the whole point was that you're staying far away from here.
Yeah, get away.
Okay, somebody wrote about a woman about men. She said, men coughing like babies. How can I feel taken care of and protected if you can't even cough right? Cover your mouth. Use your elbow, bro. Stop coughing like it's for the first time with your tongue sticking out and nothing to cover your face.
No, not
Ick.
the
The tongue
tongue.
sticking out, uncovered cough.
Not the cone, not the
Get
tongue.
out of here.
Okay, I have a lot of hilarious ones about phrases men say that immediately makes them a non-option.
Go.
Okay. These are I didn't come up with these. Don't get mad at me. Here we go. Several phrases submitted by listeners. When saying delicious when taking a sip when taking a sip of coffee.
These are just people who are so tired of their boyfriends. They're just sick of the person they
But
live with.
that's correct. That's
It
correct. You
is. It
can't
is.
do that. You can't do that and ask someone to have sex with you. Okay. This is unrelated submitted by a different listener. This is about men or women, so I'm assuming they're bi or pansexual.
Sure.
Okay, when we as adults use the word yummy or yum to describe how food tastes.
Yeah.
It's yum.
It's yum like that. I hate
It's
that.
yum. It's yummy.
No. Oh, you know what
Yummy.
in the same category, an ick that I
Yeah.
have, and people don't use this as much anymore, but like in 2013, I feel like it was big when people would say
Uh-oh.
nom nom nom. It was
Fuck
like an
off.
internet, it was like a,
Fuck the fuck off.
I hate it. Don't
Yeah.
say that. Don't
Oh,
type it.
someone
Don't
else.
say it.
Don't say it. Somebody else said when men say food that the food slaps. Canceled. Go to jail.
I'm I'm guilty of that myself.
Straight to jail. Straight
Sometimes
to
I get
jail.
really broy, you know.
When men say, quote, I like my women like I like my blank, any word.
Mm,
The listener says, just kill me, why don't you?
agree. I
Agree.
think agree.
If they say cool beans, that has to be one of the biggest icks on the fucking earth.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Why did
We can't
people
have
start saying
sex.
why did people start saying cool beans? Women say that too sometimes.
Oh, I think I had a phrase
I'm
along
literally
these lines.
grimacing as I think about it.
Oh, I have one to add to this category of like
Tell
phrases
me.
that men say.
Yeah, the words men can't say.
Yeah, men referring to their friend as buddy. I have a buddy at XYZ. No, ew. You know how
Yeah,
they're always
you
like, "Oh yeah, my buddy's starting that
that's
restaurant."
so
Or like, "Oh,
true.
my
You think it's
buddy's."
gay to have a friend? You think I'm gonna think you're gay if you admit to having a friend?
You gotta say buddy apparently.
Buddy. This one I don't understand at all, which is why I'm gonna read it because it's so funny to me. Somebody said using the phrase comes in handy. Like, shut the fuck up, makes me sick. Comes in
Why?
handy. Oh, having this mini screwdriver comes in handy. I like that.
That's the perfect like indefensible. I don't get it, but I don't have to get it
I feel like I can feel it. I think I can pretty much agree with any of these.
with any of them. You're like, "Yeah, I could see that."
Using the word smooch, correct.
Oh my God. Yeah, don't do
Saying,
that.
saying or writing he as a man. You can't do it, right?
People wrote in about men using emojis.
Mm,
For me, I'm okay with a well-placed, unique emoji. But if
okay.
you're like throwing out emojis
Yeah, yeah,
every
yeah.
in every text, that's too much. And specifically the blushing smiley emoji, I
Oh,
can't have from a man.
yeah.
I
Are
can't.
you blushing? You little
I don't want to know about it. Don't
little
blush.
girl
That's an ick.
doll. That's
Blushing is an
funny.
ick for men.
Don't blushing is an ick. Um here's okay, I'll share two icks that were submitted that violate both Justin and I. There about a million people said burping in public. Sorry about it.
You guys burp in public?
No, Justin has never burped once in his life. I've never
Yeah,
heard
I
him
believe
burp.
that.
I'm not
But you
kidding.
do.
I only heard him burp one time when he was like drunk and passed out sleeping. So he
Wow,
wasn't even
sleeping.
awake while
Wow.
sleeping. He burped. And that was the only time I've ever heard him burp. But I burp nonstop. Again, digestive issues. It's
Sure,
pretty
sure, sure,
bad.
sure.
It's pretty bad. And he doesn't like it. But we're still going to get married. So everyone can
Well,
feel better.
that is so interesting. Like the boundaries and non-boundaries of your, not talking about poop and farts and stuff with each other, but then allowing birth. I don't know. I'm very interested in the nuances of like what's okay and what's not okay and what's not okay, but it has to happen anyway.
He's not okay with any of it, but I can control, like, I'm not going to shit myself in public in
Sure.
front of him that often.
Most of the time.
But the burps, it's like burping to me is like breathing. I'm not kidding. If I drink a cup of water, I'm burping. Even
Wow.
it doesn't have to be fizzy water. Like there's something I think wrong with how I swallow.
Okay. Sure.
So I'm just burping a lot. Like if I chew gum, I burp. If I swallow, I burp.
Okay, this is just, yeah, it's unavoidable. It's like I have a
It's
friend who hiccups a
unavoidable.
lot, and there's no
Yeah.
cause of the hiccups. She just starts getting the
She just
hiccups.
starts getting the hiccups.
Yeah. It's an esophageal problem.
Probably.
Probably.
Probably it
Ryan
is.
gave me one for women. Clapping off beat. Agree. I would say that about men.
Yeah, that's hard. I
And then
think if
another one that he
you,
and I shared
yeah,
is laughing at a joke before the punchline. It's different than like in a story. If somebody's telling a
that's
funny
funny.
story, you can laugh whatever, whenever. But if
Okay,
you're at a
good.
comedy show and there's a setup and a
Interesting.
punchline,
Oh, and they're just laughing because they're like getting excited.
yeah, or like they're confused, like, shut up, please stop. We can't have sex.
Um, oh, I was gonna say the ick that well, this isn't fully what someone said, but in terms of men texting in a feminine way with emojis, I will not say Justin doesn't send too many emojis, but he does text, and he will tell you this in a very he texts like a girl, basically. And but I like it because it makes me feel more comfortable because man texting is fucking weird. Just like,
You mean
hey,
he's like verbose, like descriptive? What's that
like
mean?
he'll use lots of exclamation points all over the place. Things that I
Okay.
think most women don't even recognize as girl texting. We just think that's normal, but that's girl texting. Lots of exclamation points and like long full sentences. I mean, he's a not just verbose, but like lots of excitement and
Yeah.
he'll do the emojis and stuff.
Enthusiastic.
Lots of enthusiasm and oh my god, I guess he won't say oh my gosh, but just like that's the energy.
Yeah.
And I never noticed that. It wasn't weird to me. It made me feel comfortable because I'm like needy and I don't want people to be withholding. But he told me, he was like, sometimes I have to turn it off with texting my guy friends because they'll make fun of me. And he's like, I was trained to text or I was trained to communicate that way because at his job where he's worked for a while, it's almost entirely women. The entire like
Yeah.
most working at USAID, it's almost entirely women there, or like most of the people he's always worked with were women. And he's like, when I started there, I was like really shocked that there was this very it was clear that there's a very different way that women communicate in email most of the time, like and not even just the exclamation points, but like the amount of like affirmations that have to
Description.
happen
Yeah.
and more like not description, but like
But like,
the
I
pleasing.
agree. That's a
Yes,
great
yes.
idea. And
That's a great idea.
also,
Affirming,
yeah.
all the
Yeah.
affirming, all the affirming all the time instead of just like dry get down to business. And the exclamation points and like and he was like and I learned that like my emails and my messages were being received a weird way and so he like learned to write with all these exclamation points and things and like he's like everything
Wow.
goes over better now and will also use that texting with me and I like it. It is what I want.
Meanwhile, a bunch of the women that he works with are probably trying to use less exclamation points in their work emails. And
To
he's
meet in
like,
the
I got to
middle,
use
to
more.
meet in the
We'll meet in the
middle.
middle. Yeah.
Yeah, to meet in the middle.
That makes a lot of sense to me, though.
I just thought
The
that was so
industry I
funny.
work in is very female dominated, like public health and healthcare. Um, and so and especially now that I'm on a marketing team, it's healthcare marketing. So it's like almost entirely women, except for my boss is a dude. And he fits right in. Like he's figured out the way to communicate.
Yeah.
I know what you're describing because I think my boss does it. I don't know if it's intentional or if it's just become natural to him because he's worked
It's
in
like
this
a
space with
culture.
women.
It's like a work communication culture, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. But I know exactly what you mean. Or he'll like heart, we use Slack at work, which is like our messaging program, and he'll heart things in Slack. He'll use
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
emoji reactions the
You
way
have
that
to do
I would
that or
do
people
it.
think you're mad.
Right, exactly.
Give me a nick.
Somebody sent in this one. Women who get mad at men for holding the door open for them.
Agree.
Agree. Because I think the same
Like, what do you
women
want? What do you want?
would be mad if they didn't open the door for them.
Also, like, what it's I don't find someone opening the door to me to think that they think I'm not a
Like
whole
weak.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like and you know what does suck about that is like some women would be offended if they don't hold the door. Someone would be offended if they do. So,
What's the
yeah.
right thing to do? I agree.
Yeah. I
I
actually
agree.
yeah, my sense of self as a person is not contained in this moment.
Right.
Okay, here's probably my biggest ick. And I wrote this down on my list, but I also got maybe 6 submissions from listeners. This is my biggest ick. And I would say absolutely this is an ick and absolutely is a deal breaker. I would never date this person. And I actually don't know that I would ever be seen near someone who does this. And this
That makes
is,
me feel more secure that I
okay,
don't do
good.
it.
This is especially for men. It's bad for women too, but especially for men. Toe walkers, people who walk on the balls of their feet.
I saw
And
those.
this, and I got like 6 of these submitted. Somebody wrote toe walkers. Drop them heels, boy. Heel toe, heel toe.
I
Walking on the balls of
agree.
your feet. And they always have a little bounce with it.
It goes back to men's toes. It's like, don't, why are toes the focal point?
Don't bring attention to the toes.
Yeah.
And the little bounce will, because you know what else is toddlers walk around on their tiptoes. That's the
It's
thing
very
babies do
baby.
before they learn to put like their whole foot down.
I think the way someone walks and their posture, we got a lot of comments about posture.
Yeah.
Those are those things that, like, I have been sitting at a bar waiting for somebody on a first date
Mm-hmm.
and they've walked in, and I knew from how they walked in
Yeah.
that it was a no for me. And then,
Yeah, girl.
especially to double down, if they open their mouth and they had a bad voice that I'm not attracted to their voice, it's done. Like, those are my two quickest
Yeah.
icks for sure. That it's just like, yeah, this is not, we're not gonna touch each other ever.
The way you walk, that's so good. Actually, one time I went on a date with a guy and he had me meet him just like on a street corner. And we were near restaurants, but we were gonna go walk to a restaurant. And we actually talked about it later on the date. And he was like, yeah, I feel like you get so much more. I would rather meet someone
You
like
told me about
walking
this.
around because you get so much more information about them. And I was like, that's true. That's actually a really good idea.
Smart.
He sucked. He had weird skin behind his ear, actually. I'm
Oh
not kidding. It
no.
was a big ick.
Uh,
He had weird skin behind his ear. Also, this is the same guy who like sent me out of a bar at like 3
oh.
a.m. in the morning, blackout drunk, and like made me find my own way home. And also then ghosted me for like 2 weeks and then asked to hang out. Also, I think he was gay. So there was a lot going on.
I also think like there's a fine line between being intentional and like having a smart point about like the best way to meet someone on a first date, and then being overly intentional where it's like
Too
you've done this a
rigid.
lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's funny.
you are too learned about the best way to have a first date. You've studied this. You've met a lot of
Yeah.
ladies. Like,
I feel like when you see a man's dating system, when you see their system, and they're like, I always go to this bar, or they won't say that,
yes.
but you can just tell. And they're just like, oh, yeah, this is my favorite spot, la, 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 la. And they do like a certain wink to the waiter, and they have a certain order. And then, like, and then we'll walk around the corner, we'll go to this place after, and then we'll
Yes.
go on this one. And it's like, you can just tell, like, oh, this is your
Routine.
system. And they really think they're getting away with it.
Agree. I mean, to be fair, I had a go-to date spot that if they
It
asked
works.
where I wanted to go, I always
Let's do it.
said Stereo in Logan Square in Chicago. And that's where me and Ryan's first date was.
But that's different than
Um,
a whole system.
but I had been on like 6 first dates there before.
Yeah.
Whatever, I like it there.
Okay, she
But
likes
I
it
didn't
there.
have a plan afterwards. Okay.
Yeah.
That's where it tips it over the edge.
How to get them in their knickers,
Yeah.
in their little negligee. I think the word negligee is funny, and I keep saying it.
You have said it a couple times. I think the word
Thank you.
décolletage is really good, and I feel like it's associated with negligee. Don't you
Okay.
think?
I do think. I do think.
You do think. Um, I wrote down, oh, this is actually really big for me, picky eaters and unwilling to try new
Mm,
foods, which
yeah.
I don't know if that feels as strong to you because I know I'm more like food obsessed or something, but
You okay?
I don't know what the word is, but we've talked about how like you don't really like need to have, I don't know, like try
I
new
would be
foods.
annoyed. I would be annoyed by the picky eater thing though, because it's like, so you're inflexible and unadventurous. Like I'll try things.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think
You'll
it's
try
like,
stuff.
so you're like difficult, basically. You're
That's how I
difficult.
feel. That's how I feel
Yeah.
about it. It's like, okay, you can have a food intolerance, that's fine. Don't talk to me about it, but you can have it.
Yeah.
Um, but don't be like, oh yeah, like having like a childish taste in food, like a very basic childish palate.
Yeah. Only
I
chicken
like chicken nuggets
tenders.
as much as the next guy,
I just
but
said chicken tenders.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, I love them. I love them. Don't get me wrong. It's not that you can't like those things, but like you need to be able to eat other things, or else
Yeah.
I'm not attracted to you.
I just like chicken tenders.
I like the
Okay.
tendies.
Here's one from a man submitted about a woman. This is a specific person told me this one time. He wasn't on a date with this girl, but I think they were at like a group meal, and this is when he decided he could never be interested in her, where they had some kind of like Mexican dish with like a pile of like wet black beans on some part of the dish. And she finished her plate, and then there was a little like black bean juice, like juice from the beans on her
I'm
plate.
familiar with that. Hmm.
And she picked up the plate with two hands and slurped the bean juice down at the table and licked the plate. And he was like, I almost threw up.
This was on a date.
No, it was like a group outing,
A-
but
I
that made
mean,
her like,
nevertheless.
that took her off the table for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's insane behavior.
It's pretty bad.
That's insane
Don't
behavior.
ever slurp the juice of a bean in front of me.
Bean juice. And the fact that it was that too, like I've had delicious meals where I want to lick the plate. I won't do it in
I
public.
won't. Don't do it in
But
public.
even if I
Get a little
considered,
spoon.
get some bread and soak it up the juices if you must.
Yeah.
Like ask for some bread.
Yeah,
But
that's what bread is for. Bread
bean
is for that
juice,
very moment. Bean juice. Yeah. The juice of a bean.
it's
And
over.
it wasn't coffee. It was just bean. How do you feel about a man using a straw?
Okay. So one of my favorite rom-coms is Crazy Stupid Love with Ryan Gosling and Michael Scott, not Michael Scott, Steve
Michael
Carell.
Scott. Yeah.
And they have that whole bit in that movie about how Ryan Gosling's character is trying to like teach Steve Carell's character to have swag and like attract ladies. And he drinks a drink from a straw and he's like, it looks like you're sucking on a little weenus. Like you can't do that. Take out the straw. I don't have an issue with it, but I do think there's like a certain pursing of the lips that I don't want to bear witness to. So like you can drink from the straw. I'm just maybe gonna look away at that
I'm gonna
at
look
the exact
away.
moment that your lips touch it.
Oh, that's so funny.
Like I wrote down
That's
on
so
my
funny.
list drinking martinis.
Yeah, why do men hate pursing their lips? I was gonna post this photo. There was like a really cute kissy photo of Justin and I, but it was him. Oh, I think it was our engagement photo when I posted that we were engaged. And there was a version where he's looking at the camera, and there's a version where he's going to give me a kiss, but it's right before the kiss. And he was like, no, don't just post that with me with my lips pursed, like not even at the kiss. It's just my lips pursed in the air. And
Mm,
I like didn't really know the issue with it, but he was like, no, no one can see that.
I think having not seen the picture,
Men are
I
onto
do think he's
something. They
right. I
know.
do
And
think he made the right call.
a lot of men won't use straws. And I actually didn't notice that, but I think it's in they I think I don't know that that would be an ick for me, but some people submitted that as an ick. Men
Okay,
using
but
straws,
here's
and I
the
think
other
the men
thing.
know that they need to avoid them.
Well, here's the other thing. If you're a man who refuses to use a straw, I also find that to be an ick.
Yes, it has to be casual.
You have to be
You have
somewhere in
to
between.
you have to casually avoid them unless it's unavoidable, then don't worry about it. Just do it.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan loves like when Ryan and I go out for drinks, he's usually the one getting like the fruity. It's the classic meme of like the guy getting the fruity
Yeah.
cocktail with the straw and the girl getting like the Negroni or whatever. Like we're that couple. And I like that about him. I think it's really cute. But yeah, I'm just like not looking him in the eye while he's sucking on the
Yeah.
straw.
You
But
have
it
to be
would
at
be
a
weirder
bar
to
so
me
he's
if
next to
he
you.
right. And it would be
Yeah.
weirder to me if he was so concerned about protecting his
Remove the
masculinity
straw.
that he wouldn't order something like that or he
That's
wouldn't
so
drink from a straw.
true.
So that would be worse.
That's
I
a
just can't,
really
I
good
just don't want
ick
to
to
look
throw
at
out
it.
there. Men who are too protective of their
Yeah.
masculinity.
After everything we've
After
said
everything we
about
just
be
said.
masculine for me to like you.
You know what though? I fucking don't feel bad about this because I think the reverse that makes women undesirable is being, and every man would fucking say this, is women who work too hard to look sexy or look good or work at their makeup or try hard or like
Trying.
don't try too hard. But you also, it's like women are held, listen, women I don't fucking feel bad for the men. I fucking
Oh
don't feel
yeah.
bad for you,
The double
okay?
standard started with
Women
women.
have to be the perfect amount of attractive without being witnessed as trying to be attractive. But if you try to, I don't feel bad for the men. Sorry,
I
you do.
agree.
Yes,
This is just part of
you
being
get a
human.
lot of gifts in this world, and one of the harder things is that you must strike the exact perfect balance of caring about your masculinity and protecting it while not caring too much and deal with it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
We were talking like many episodes ago at this point, we had a whole conversation about trying and like how
Yeah.
terrible society makes it for women to be seen trying. And is
Yeah.
there an equivalent? Like we can think of all these celebrities who are women who, as soon as they were seen trying to look better or trying to be cool or trying to be funny or whatever, people started hating them. And can we think of men who are in the spotlight who have dealt with the same thing? And
True.
people sent us some suggestions of some guys who maybe fit that description. I haven't
I didn't
necessarily
agree with I
agreed with
didn't
them.
none of them convinced me. I read them too. None
Yeah,
of them
but I
convinced me.
have one. But okay, no. So
Oh,
I think there's a lot of men. I think there's becoming more and more men in the public eye who are trying more, but people like it. So the best example
that's
I
what
can
I'm
think of
saying.
is Timothy Chalamet, who
Yeah,
is such a try hard, and everybody's obsessed with him.
that's what I'm saying. We're talking about we don't when we see a woman trying, she's like canceled for it.
Exactly. Yeah, but
That's the whole
if
point.
anything, it's the opposite. It's not only that
Yeah.
men can try and just like they still get to exist. It's like men can try and we like it.
And
Um,
somebody gave an example. I remember when people were sending in submissions to disprove us. Who is that guy who had the car karaoke show?
oh, James Corden. Yeah.
James Corden. So someone submitted him as they were like, "Oh, like he started trying too hard and people got annoyed by him and like he people started getting annoyed." That is true. I don't know what exactly happened with the show. I think people did end up getting annoyed by him, but then they still just gave him a grace that they won't give to women, which is they just let him disappear into the ether. They
Yeah,
just let his show like
exactly.
kind of fade off and he just fades into the ether. They get the grace to just fade into the ether. And whereas women, it's like we are having front page New York Times articles written about how much we are annoyed by Anne Hathaway or
Yeah,
who did nothing. You know what I mean? Very different.
exactly.
Very
It's
different.
it's not that you need to love them forever regardless. It's that if you stop
Blech.
liking them, you can just still let them exist. And
Yeah, people
that
just stopped
grace
watching
doesn't
him.
doesn't exist for a lot
It
of women
wasn't
the
like
same way it exists
trendy
for
and
men.
funny to talk about how much you hated James Corden. People were just
Right.
like, I don't want to watch anymore.
Right. I very much agree. That is the difference. Do we have any more? Anything that's
I
like
I will
burning
hit
off your page?
yes, I will hit a couple classics that I think need to be said. I'm
Okay.
gonna rip through these. Um, a man wearing a fedora, a suit vest, or any piece of period clothing, or suspenders.
I like suspenders. It's the only
No,
exception.
Mumford and Son style suspenders on
Oh,
with no
so
jacket
true.
over top. Mumford and Sons style. No,
Yeah, no, not like that.
straight to jail.
Maybe like
Under
that.
if it like goes with like a whole outfit.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
there's like a way to make it good and there's a way to make it bad for me.
yeah.
But I agree with the fedora and the vest for
Thank
sure.
you.
Unless the vest is
Okay,
under a suit. Yeah. At like
I'm gonna
a
say
tux.
a man using a tote bag, a
Okay,
canvas tote
what kind of
bag,
tote bags? I
a
think I agree.
canvas tote bag, a
The canvas
canvas tote
tote
bag,
bags.
as
Yeah.
opposed to what other kind?
Um, well, tote bag to me is like just a large bag. It can be the canvas ones or it can be like a purse, which like are we talking about a merce, a male purse, or are we talking about
I'm literally
canvas
talking
tote
about.
bags that are like
I mean,
groceries?
I would say
Groceries.
Merce is also definitely shoot him in the head,
Totally.
but tote bag like farmer's market man with a
Farmers
canvas tote.
market.
Nope,
Okay.
no. Bring your duffel, bring a backpack, or bring your
Bring your
girlfriend.
duffel.
Sorry about
Bring
it.
your
Sorry
girlfriend.
about it.
Bring your hands. Where'd your hands go?
Where'd
Just
your
hold
hands
the
go,
stuff.
bitch? Okay, that also brings me to men with small hands. I will say
Yeah.
my big deal breakers on a date, I need to see your gait. And I don't care about voice as much, but I need to see how you use your hands. There are a lot of unacceptable hand mannerisms as well as tiny little hands.
I don't like somebody who rubs their hands together. I'll say that.
Correct.
I don't know
Okay,
if you're
okay.
trying to set, I don't know if you're, whether you're doing it because you're like looking
Ooh.
at food in front of you and you're like, that's
Oh no.
awful.
That
Or if
that's
you're
the same
doing
guy who's
it
saying
exactly,
delicious.
exactly, it's that guy. Or if you're doing it because your
Mm-mm-mm.
hands are cold or something, like why are your hands cold? Warm up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
somebody
Like,
somebody submitted men being cold in public was an
yeah, it
ick.
sucks. I hate it. I hate it. And as a woman that runs hot, I'm
This
like,
makes me
figure it
feel
out.
great. Figure it out. Last thing I'll say, I don't even know if this is an ick. This is actually just something that makes me dry heave. And some people did submit this, but eye boogers. And Justin knows this. Justin's Justin's a pretty regular offender of our eye boogers. Actually, we all are. I will
Yeah,
compulsively go to the mirror to clean out for myself. It grosses me
me
out so
too.
much. And if I see it in someone's eye, I'm telling you. I can't because I can't talk to you. Actually, one time, like I make Justin, I'm like, you got to fix it.
You got to wipe
One
it. Yeah.
time I went to walked into this like stationery store and I was talking to the man behind the register and he was like this sweet older guy and I bought this like card that had this weird painting on it or something, and he was telling me this story about the painter, and he had eye boogers in his eye, and it was a sweet old man started telling me the story, and the story lasted. I was held hostage at the cash register for like 7 minutes, and I actually threw up in my mouth. I'm not kidding. I had to
Yeah.
look at it for 7 minutes. He wouldn't give
Sometimes
me the
it's
card
really
back.
bad.
I actually threw up.
And you're like, I'm supposed to look you in the eyes, but I can't. Like, I will be rude right now
And
because
then instead,
that's
I'll look at their
offensive.
mouth, or if you get a little bit of spit in the corner of your mouth,
Yeah.
throwing up, throwing
I
up.
really am grossed out by eye boogers too. I wouldn't consider it an ick because for me, the icks are really more like,
Yeah.
I can't, I can't touch you, you know?
Yeah, and
Um,
it's
and they're
ephemeral.
temporary,
You can
exactly.
fix it. Yeah.
But
But
I'm very
if yeah.
obsessive about wiping mine. Like
Oh,
anytime I
it's the
notice it
worst.
or first thing in the morning. Ryan has really bad allergies. We both do, but
Yeah.
his allergies present in lots of morning eye boogers. And I'm like, I get in there. I get my thumb in there with my long nail and everything. And I'm like, sorry,
For
this seems
him?
sharp.
For
Oh,
him?
yeah, I'll clean them off
No,
now.
I'm not
Yeah.
touching
You're
them.
not touching it. So I'm not as grossed out by
No.
it as you. I just don't want to look at
No.
it, but I can touch it.
No.
Yeah.
No. No.
We're like little cats.
No. No.
I can't, you know what I can't do that a lot of people like to do is like pop
No.
somebody else's pimples. No to
I can
that.
do that. So I could do
Wow,
that.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't do that one. I'll get
The
in there with the
eye
eye.
boogers. Gross. One time, okay, when I went on a date with Street Man, here's a little Street Man drama. First of all, this man, it was like he was trying to pile icks on me. If you follow YouTube videos, you want a Street Man thing. And then we went to this restaurant. I'll throw up right now. And he took a bite of food, and I guess like a hair from a server or something fell in his food. Happens, not your fault.
Yeah.
But what he did is he reached into his mouth and he pulled it out and dragged it out in front of him like a presentation. By the way, we were eating hummus, so it was covered in hummus, and he dangled it in front of his face and my face to show me.
Oh,
Dangled it. I was gonna say, if that happened to me, you pull that out on the side and pray to God nobody sees.
I feel like crying. I'm gonna
I
cry.
wanted to throw up covered in hummus.
That is
He
inexcusable.
he made me watch as he pulled it out of his mouth, and then made me and like dangled it there like he was presenting it.
Like he's proud. Like he's an animal that just like got a fish from the ocean or something. Ew.
He might as well have reached between his butt cheeks and then showed me what came out on his hand. It was
Right.
so upsetting.
I'm stunned.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the street man lore that we're all
Mm-hmm.
here for. Deep in
Yeah.
this podcast episode where it's safe, we
No, it's safe.
reveal the truth.
Yeah, he's not alive anymore.
Oh
I
my
assume.
God. I'm speechless. I think we have
It's
to
not pretty
go.
bad. Okay,
Yeah.
I think we have to go now.
I think we have to go. This has been not for everyone. Send us your icks. Keep sending us your icks. Maybe we'll make it like a segment every now and then to talk about more as they come up. Um, and leave us a review. Maybe leave us a review with your ick. As long as it's a 5-star review, write whatever you
Ooh.
want in there. Do that. I
Yeah,
like that.
redneck. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
We done. Kisses.